What's going on, you guys? Back again with another video. Today we're going to be working on the 2018 Toyota Tacoma. First off, before we get into what's going on today, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to a buddy of mine, Eric, over at uniquestyleracing.com. Originally, I came upon their website when I was looking for blacked out headlights for the Tacoma, which I actually did find on their website, so hopefully that's next. But before we did or went to that point, Eric was kind enough to send us out these Switchback blacked out LED mirror signals for the 2018 Toyota Tacoma. I'll show you guys real quick. That's the aftermarket look, and that is the OEM look. As you can tell, I already went ahead and did the passenger side installation just so I could get familiar with it. So I'm gonna bring you guys along and do the driver's side and show you exactly how it's done. But before we go there, I wanted to also let you guys know that Eric was also kind enough to give me and all you guys watching this, my audience, a discount code. It's a 10% discount code for anything off of their website, and the discount code is EG Taco. I'm gonna put it here on the screen. I'm gonna link them down below, and I'm also gonna put that coupon or discount code down below as well. You guys check out that website and get whatever it is that you need or want and use that discount code. Now, before we dive into this installation, you guys, I wanted to just quickly show you what it is and what it looks like on the table. Like I said, I went ahead and did the passenger side already. So this is the stock OEM look. As you can see, it's chromed out, and it just works as a turn signal whenever it is that you use each one or the other, or as a hazard light. Now we're gonna have the option of running a white DRL LED off of this, and I am gonna go ahead and show you what the passenger side looks like. But I wanted to dive into kind of the wiring of the new Unique Style Racing mirror lights. Alright, so when you go ahead and order yourself a pair of these, it's actually pretty cool the way they give you. They give you the option to either use an add-a-fuse, which basically will have a plug-and-play connector that basically just adds into an add-a-fuse that you get to decide which one it is that you want to go with into the fuse block underneath the engine bay. Now, they do have a video on their own YouTube channel on exactly how to do that part or that style of connection. I'm going to go ahead and link down their YouTube down in the description as well. But the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to tie it into the DRL light, which I've already done on the passenger side, and I'll show you what I did there. But basically what's going to happen is I'm going to cut off this plug here. I'm going to separate this black and white wire. The white wire is the only wire that's going into the actual housing. If you look closely here, that black wire is just being held in place by some tape, and they basically just send you out this wire to be an extension of this white wire so it can make it all the way into the engine bay. This plug here is just your standard OEM plug that's going to reconnect the same way that your OEM one did or would, which is right there. As you can tell, it's the same plug, and that's basically just going to give you the already functional turn signal whenever you hit it. But as soon as you're done with that turn signal, this white wire is what's going to activate your white LED. So it's pretty cool. They give you that option for you to decide and customize how exactly you want that LED to come on. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I went ahead and did it on the passenger side, and then we'll dive into tearing apart the driver's side. Alright, you guys, so we're on the passenger side. On the passenger side, I ran my wire through this little boot here. That's from the inside of the truck coming out towards the engine bay, and I tied it into the Drl harness, which is down in there. This passenger side was kind of tough because of this tank. Installation tip, you guys, when you guys go to do this, remove these two 10mm bolts. This will allow you to get some space, some wiggle room by moving this tank off to the side. The driver's side should be a little cleaner and easier to get to. As you can see, the wire harnesses are down there, and that's your DRL harness. You got a red, a black, and then an orange. Some of you guys may have a blue or yellow. That off-color wire is the one that we're going to be tapping into to give us the DRL function, so our LEDs will run at the same time as our DRL strip. There is the connector and plug here that we're going to be messing with right there, and we're going to be running the wire through this boot there. Alright, you guys, so your first step, now the tools that you're going to need for this installation is a 10mm socket and ratchet, a couple pry tools, and as well as a Phillips screwdriver. But the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is remove this painted cover cap that's on the mirror itself, which is just held in by some tabs. But you want to be real careful and just pry it apart evenly all the way around, just like that. As you can see, it's just a couple of tabs, a hook, So we're gonna go ahead and remove these two Phillips screws, which are honestly the only thing really holding this in, except for another clip up here. We want to remove this panel as well, which again is just held in by these little plastic screws there, or these little plastic clips. And now we're gonna move towards removing the door panel. In order to remove this mirror, you got to get this door panel off, and you're gonna have to remove it either way to run that new positive wire to the new switchback LEDs. So to do so, you have one push pin here, one push pin clip like that, and then you're gonna have to remove this plastic panel in there. And then if you look in here, there's actually a little foam insert that's gonna release, or that's gonna show you another Phillips screw. So you just have two Phillips screws, one in there, and then once I get these off, I'll show you guys how I'm just gonna pop off the door. Alright you guys, so I got both screws off. Now we're basically just gonna pop this door panel off. Now it is kind of hard, this obviously being a new truck. These clips are on there pretty good. As you can hear, you're gonna hear those things pop. Now don't be scared, it's all just plastic clips. And lift this door panel off. Now it's gonna be kind of hard to show you, but there's some green and white latches here that go onto your handle and go onto the lock. So then you can take those off. Just remember that the green goes down on this driver's side. And then you're gonna reach in here and remove these harnesses that are going to your door jambs. Alright you guys, so I went ahead and got the door off. Now I will say this driver's side was a lot harder, and that's only because this plug here, which goes to the main body of your switch panel, is a lot bigger than on the passenger side. Now the release to this switch is actually right here on the inside. Is right here on the inside of the plug, which makes it extremely difficult to get your hand in and from behind and click it. But once you get it, this comes right off. We'll put this outside and then we'll pick it up to what's next. Alright you guys, so the next step is to remove this plug here, which gives all your power to your mirror. You want to remove these three tabs that are basically just a tape cover that show the three 10mm bolts that hold the mirror in place. I'm gonna go ahead and remove those three 10mm bolts, and then we'll pick it back up once we get this mirror pulled out. Alright you guys, so once you got all three nuts off of the door, or the mirror I should say, you're basically just gonna pull the mirror out and pull the wire out and move on to reinstalling the new blacked out LED mirror light. Alright you guys, so before this came off the truck, we removed our two Phillips screws that are holding the OEM mirror light to the bracket. As you can see, I already went ahead and separate the black wire from the white wire coming off of the aftermarket one. All you're basically going to do is peel this up, release these wires. I may not be getting the best angle, but you guys get the gist of it. And then it just pulls right out. Then you're just gonna delatch the stock plug from the OEM light. Get your new light. Now the easiest way that I found to do this is to feed this inside corner towards the inside of the mirror first. You just gotta lift up this little bracket here, get it out the way. Kind of has to go in at an angle. Just like that. Alright, now as you can see, it does come foam insulated. That foam insulation is now behind the mirror itself. Now you're basically just going to use, with pressure, get those two clips to latch there. There's a couple more latches around it. You can kind of hear it clipping in. And now the two Phillips screws is actually what's going to hold this into place. Just like that. So I'm going to go get the two Phillips screws and then we'll put these back together. Alright, so once you got your two Phillips screws in and holding the light itself in place, all you're going to do is reinstall OEM plug. Kind of route this out of the way. And there's actually some hooks here that just hold these two wires kind of in place, keep them from moving. And as well as on this side. There you go. So just like that, now you got your white wire, which you're also going to run into this hook. Just like that. Now, what you want to do is you got to run this white wire through the same way that this yellow wire is. Now to do that, you got to remove this tape that's here, and then we got to pop off this little bracket. There's actually a little bracket that is just snapped in place. Unsnap it like so, and there you go. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this tape, and then I'll show you how we're going to run this white wire out to this side. Okay. Alright, so what you're going to want to do is, once you separate this little plastic trim panel, you're basically just going to pull this wire loom all the way through. And now that you got all this excess, you're going to get your new LED positive feed wire. Put some tape over it, hold it in place, and then you're just going to pull this yellow wire out the opposite end, and that's how your white wire is going to end up on this side of these brackets. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Kill it. Alright you guys, so now that we got our little plastic cover back on, we got our wires ran through, we're going to go ahead and just feed these wires through the opening from there, and pull your yellow plug back through, and then these are going to line back up. Just like so, and there you go. Now we're just going to reinstall our 3 nuts on this side, recover everything, and then we'll pick it up with what's next. Alright you guys, so the next step, once we got these bolted back up, the holes covered back up, now we're going to remove our speaker, and we're also going to pull back on the insulation here to run the wire through the door. And then the most tedious part about pretty much this whole install is having to run this wire through this little boot in here, through that little wire loom boot to come in to the other side. So to do that, we got to remove your door panel here, this corner panel, remove your speaker, and then I'll show you guys how to run the wire. And now the tool that's going to help you the most, believe it or not, is just a metal wire hanger, and that's going to help you pull the rest of this wire through to the inside of the truck. Alright you guys, so I got my door panel off, I got my corner panel off. As you can see, I ran the metal hook or the metal hanger through the plastic wire loop, and it is now hanging on this side. This is by far the most tedious part of this whole install, and probably the part that's going to take you the longest. Now what you want to do is you want to go ahead and tape this wire up to that metal hanger and pull it back the other way into the cabin. Now you want to go real careful and go real slow, so that you don't accidentally pull this wire off the hanger. Because if you have to get that back in and through, it's going to be a pretty big, quite of a mission to get that done. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten this back up, pull it through, and hopefully I get it right on the first try. Alright you guys, so now that we got this white wire through, now this is where that black wire that was tied to it is going to come in handy. What you're going to go ahead and do is, as you can tell, this is not long enough to send it all the way into the engine bay. So you're going to you're gonna go ahead and strip the wire, butt connector into the wire. Go ahead and get your crimpers. Crimp this down. Now obviously the better way to do this, you guys, is to solder it. I know that, but this is going to be inside the truck, so I'm not too worried about it seeing any sort of weather or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same for the opposite side on the black side. And there. Get my wire crimpers and crimp it down. Now, before I go ahead and finish this off, I'm going to get my heat gun. Heat this up so these the shrink tube shrinks on the wire just to create a nice and tight seal. And then I'm just going to get some electrical tape it up. And then we're going to use the same hanger tool through the engine bay and now into this compartment, into the inside, to run this out to the engine bay. Now this is going to be a lot easier because on this side I do have a bunch of wires already going through the grommet. So we'll go ahead and heat this up and then pick it back up once we got the wire on the other side. Alright you guys, so as you can see, I went ahead and got the quick splice on. I already tested everything and everything works. So now before I go ahead and remount this plug back to the headlight where it was originally at, I'm just going to take some electrical tape and electrocute it and tape it all up nice and tight, make it look clean. Then I'll go ahead and mount this, and that should be pretty much it. I'll show you guys. Once you got your two Phillips screws in, I'm just going to get this little plastic trim piece. Snap it back in place like so. Then you got this little like felt piece that goes in there. I already went ahead and snapped this back into place to cover up all those wires coming through. So now you're just gonna get your door panel, snap it back into place. Then you're gonna get this piece here, lines up, snaps back into place like so. And that's pretty much it. Now we're ready to get our last and final piece. Cover here. Now you want to make sure you got these two Phillips screws in place. All the wiring is out of the way. Like so. And this will snap as well. Gotta make sure all the clips are lined up. Just want to put pressure all around. Make sure you had a nice even gap. And that's pretty much it. Looks like nothing ever happened. Feel it? There you go, you guys, another successful install. I am really digging the look of these things. It's one of those things that I never even really paid attention to. They were always just there, and they were chrome and clear. So obviously I never liked the way they look. Obviously this is way cleaner, a lot more low profile. But now that these things are out on the market, it's freaking awesome. I highly recommend that if you are a Tacoma owner, get your hands on a pair of these. Make sure you check out uniquestylracing.com. I'm going to link that down below. And make sure you use our discount code EGTACO for 10% off of your whole order. With that being said, that's pretty much it. Stay tuned to the end of this video. I'm going to go ahead and get some night shots of all this, so that way you guys can see what these things really look like at night. And you're definitely not going to be mistaken at night when you see these DRLs along with the mirror LEDs. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.